In sometime soon if they continue to barrel up the ball, as you say. Zook takes a called strike.
Well, this is always the question when you're up against obviously one of the best teams in the world. How long do you leave your ace out there? You want to take a run at them early in the game. Can you keep it close? Can you maybe run into a ball? And now it looks like they're starting to pull away a little bit early on, and I think that's what the REDMEN's question is going to be: is how long do we stay with them before we make a change?
Yeah, this isn't their race, to quote something from another sport, and they'll be looking to compete up against a group of different teams.
But for sure, can't help to be impressed with how well he started this game. A couple of different outcomes on the infield for him, and we could be looking at a tied ball game still, or maybe a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
He's done everything that I believe his team and coaching staff wanted. Just the defense has let him down on a couple of occasions.
This was lifted up by Zook. Coming across is the left fielder, made the grab. Throw into second, and in standing up, Zenon Winters. Josh Martin making the grab out there and left. And upstairs from Keisha. Travis, you played in a championship game on this diamond back in 2011. That one, you guys had the lead in that one, and just couldn't put it away against Jarvis. They were in the midst of winning 3 in a row. I think you guys had the lead in that one. Chicago, New York team.
I think we did. Yes, that was. I had the opportunity to play in 3 of them. 3 finals, made it to 3 finals. I think I was the only guy there yesterday that couldn't say that I've won one. But
Not to bring up painful memories.
No, but yeah, I had a lot of wonderful memories, win or lose. But yes, it would have been nice to hold on that game and run away with it.
Well, we'll pick up that story on the other side as the Redmen get out of the inning. 4-0 now for the Gremlins, and we'll keep telling some more stories. Stay with us here on the ISC Network.
Coolbet. Comfortably thrilling.
Andrew Kilpatrick getting ready for top of the 4th inning. Mitch Green steps in. Kirkpatrick just the 1 over the minimum. 6 strikeouts. And Green can't catch up with that one. So just before the break, Travis, we were talking 3 ISC championship games, but unfortunately you got close, but the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, probably one of the only softball tournaments in my career that I never had the opportunity to go and win. As you mentioned, that game against Jarvis, that was a classic, 6-5 that ended up.
Yeah.
we did have the lead. I remember losing another one here, 1-0 on just a fantastic pitcher's duel between Cheese and Sean Witten for us.
And Adam Folkert, yeah.
Tell you what, one thing I have noticed coming back here is they've changed the lights. The lights are a little bit better. A couple of those late night championship games were tough.
This one hit out to center. Anoka going back near the fence and catches it going over the fence. Wow, Benny Anoka with a great grab, catch, and carry. And that is the benefit of those soft fences. You get those spectacular plays like that. If that's a hard fence, Benny is going to run out of room.
Yeah, tough break for the Redmen there. That's, as you said, with the hard fence that doesn't give away, then we've probably got a run in the first run of the game for the Redmen. But that doesn't take away from the great play. Harry went back, stayed on that ball, and controlled it going over the fence.
Yeah, and the backflip over the fence. And I think that was a changeup from Kirkpatrick, too. Here's a one-hopper from Remeke, and he'll make the easy throw over. But it's a 1-2-3 inning, but it's a little less conventional than you would have expected. And we'll just stay on talking with Travis Wilson here. Sometimes you can fall asleep out there in the outfield when you don't get any action, but Benny Anoka making a great play right there.
Yeah, he's definitely a two-way player. He does it at the plate and he does it with his defense. Even though that looked a tough play, like I never for 1 minute thought he wasn't going to catch that. He went back on it nicely. He was right on it and kind of knew that he had a step or two beyond the fence to be able to make that play.
Yeah, he absolutely had a beat on it the whole way. The only thing that was going to stop him is if it carried too far past the fence, but he was on it the whole way, and that was what you expected of Benny out there in the outfield.
Yeah, I think anybody else that made that play, you'd be getting really excited, but the reactions by watching the Gremlins, like, it's not something they haven't seen before, like him being able to run down a ball like that. So you do get, when you get to play with a guy that good in the outfield, plays like that don't surprise you as much as if someone pulls that out of their hat, that wouldn't normally do that. Yeah,
exactly. Now, the Gremlins have been on the receiving end of that a couple of times, especially last year in the championship game, and Brad Ezekiel stealing about 5 runs from them over the course of the championship game. So I'm sure they're likely to get one back somewhere, somehow, and Benny Anoka doing it right there.
So it looks like it's still Kishig out on the mound for the Redmen. They obviously don't feel like this game is out of hand, and it's not at 4-0.
4 runs, yeah. I mean,
it's only 4-0 and a good swing there. We could be in a 3-run game quite easily.
Yeah.
But we're looking at third time through the order here for the Gremlins against the same pitcher. I really would like to see some adjustments at the plate, and I think we might see a few more balls put in play with a little bit more conviction.
Well, we'll see if Kishig and Bomberry have a different game plan now for Matthew Watt. They came up and in the first inning, and it was a hit by pitch. They stayed away, and he beat something into the ground and managed to beat out that infield hit. You got a veteran catcher back there, too, so don't underestimate the Redmen here in that regard. I think Kishik's got some good stuff, and like you said, they just need a little bit more defensive help, and this one's even closer than it already is. But on the lights question, yes, by 2016 they had put in these new lights, and I think it may have made a difference in coming back here, and because it was pretty dark. It was like wasn't quite by playing by candle, but they weren't anywhere near as good as these new high-efficiency lights that they've got here now.
It's good to see. I mean, hitting at this level's almost impossible anyway, but when you've got some lights that make it even difficult at night.
In for a strike. So you're talking about adjustments, and I heard you talk about this on your podcast interview on Beyond the Dugout with Chopper and Damian. What was the adjustment coming back after your 10-year baseball career, coming back into softball? How difficult was that adjustment? And then you made it the other way as a much younger man going into baseball from softball.
Yeah, walk from Matty Wah there. I think when I was came back from the baseball, like, I don't think people realize that the ball gets on you quicker in softball. Like, you have less reaction time in softball from the time it gets from the hand to the plate. But, of course, with baseball, you've got the smaller ball and the more distance. So I know people talk about people ask me all the time, what's harder? I mean, baseball's harder. It is harder, but that doesn't take away from the fact that hitting in the game of softball is also really, really hard as well.
That was launched down the right field side, but just foul by Remeke there. Obviously, it's a different skill. It's very similar, but there are just enough different nuances. And as you illuminated there, it's closer, the ball's smaller, blah blah blah. So a whole bunch of different things. But you obviously did extraordinarily well in on both sides of the sport. This one is laced back up the middle. That's going to get out to center. Watt's going to go coast to coast. Remeke's going to make the turn, slide safely into second base. Good hustle there by Jerome Remeke to not stop. It would have been an easy just to have been content with the single, but motoring up to second on pretty much a routine base hit. The center fielder only had to go a few steps to go get that.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there. Got a drop ball out over the plate, stayed inside it, hit it up the middle, allowed Matthew Waugh to go first to third, and you could see there that he was busting it pretty good out of the box. He was thinking two the whole way, and when that ball was cut off, that just allowed Jerome to go into second base and get really something going here for the Gremlins. So a walk from Matty Waugh to get it going, a well-struck ball. I think we're going to see here the Gremlins sort of start to run away with this.
Yeah, it's quite a possibility here, and I don't see Mike Root back up. In fact, he's standing just down near the end of the dugout right now, so no movement from the Redmen on that front. We'll get second base adjusted, and
another RBI opportunity. Another runner at third with less than two out with Benny Anoka, who, as you mentioned, has hit two balls that combine 17 feet.
Yeah, he's taken the catcher deep twice now.
Yeah. Not ideal to ground out to the pitcher, but if you get two RBIs with it, it makes it a lot easier when you're rolling back into that dugout.
Upstairs from Kishig.
I mean, a very difficult hitter to not square up a ball in 3 at-bats here against the same pitcher, so I think we're going to see Benny get something he can drive.
Well, good plate discipline right now, and sometimes you go up there looking to do something. You mentioned it earlier, that the mindset is you want to do something in these situations.
And a good take there by Benny. Obviously, he was in a good hitter's count at 2-0, but the pitcher made a pitcher's pitch. He laid off it, and so instead of grounding out, he's still alive here with a chance to drive something. Base open too. He does have the base open here with Ochoa on deck, so we'll see how hard he goes at Benny right here.
Upstairs, ball 4. None of those even close, so not taking his chances with Ben Anoka. We'll take it with Eric Ochoa. And again, there's no easy out here. National team players up and down the lineup. This is a challenge no matter who's out on the mound. And you have to be pitch perfect just about every time.
Very limited time seeing Ochoa hit Blair, but he definitely seems very aggressive. He's very hitterish. He wants to get that barrel out there and bases loaded situation.
And not afraid to go after pitches too. I've seen Eric go after a 3-0 pitch and try to hit it out of the park, and he's got more than enough pop to do it. So good count here, 1-1, and an opportunity because Kishik has just been nibbling and then stays away from him here again, 2-1.
Just not looking quite as sharp as he was early in the game right now is Kishik, falling behind a few batters in a row, lead-off walk. Like you mentioned, no action in the bullpen. This might be his game.
Well, good pitch there. Just fouled off the plate by Ochoa, but kept it down. And Kishik's been in these big situations. He's no stranger to this type of pressure. This one, well hit, deep right field, going back. That's going to one-hop the fence. One is in, two, and that is going to be a ground rule double because that hit the top of the fence and rolled over. So ground rule double, yeah. Wah and Remeke come around to score, and indeed, yeah, the Gremlins starting to pull away a little bit further, barreled that one up again. Didn't quite get all of it, but there you see, it actually got under the fence, yeah.
Nice piece of hitting. Got something out over the plate he could drive, turn the right fielder around, and a 2-run double for Ochoa.
Wayne Laulu scorches one right back up the middle. Anoka comes in to score, and Ochoa follows closely behind, and Wayne Laulu doesn't waste any time in adding to the run total here. Didn't get any loft on that one, but boy, that had some exit velo.
Yeah, a little up on his hands. He did a good job staying inside it, drove it up the middle.
And Cole Evans just punches one out to right. Wayne Laulu spills going around second base. That will come up in the kangaroo court, I'm sure.
That might get a few laughs out of the Gremlin dugout.
Well, it looks like second base is maybe a little loose because it just came out of that hole again, and maybe that's what Wayne tripped on. So I hope he's okay, actually. I mean, we're having a little bit of a laugh about it, but that can cause an injury with a twisted ankle pretty quick coming around if something like that happens.
Yes, Cole Evans with his first career hit.
There we are, yes.
And
indeed.
won't be his last, Blair?
I don't think so. He was my odds-on favorite for the Kevin Hurley Award coming in this tournament. The Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, so struck out his first at-bat, reached on an error in the second, and there you go. Just get that first base hit out of the way. That's going to calm his nerves. Probably have a good laugh about watching Wayne trip around second base. Glad he's up and okay. But yes, once he does find his way back into the Gremlin dugout, he's going to hear a lot about how that play developed.
I am sure that somebody is keeping track of that one.
Well, I think what was great about that is Wayne was trying to go first to third on that play. He wasn't just thinking station to station. I'll just camp here at second base.
Wayne, when he gets going, is a force.
I think we probably got to wait a couple of minutes for the grounds crew here to.
Let's go back and talk about the transition then from baseball back into softball. You were close, and I'm just referencing the podcast. You broke the camp with the Braves the one year, and you had talked about that on the podcast quite eloquently, and not that you aren't, but I just thought your storytelling abilities were great about how just the atmosphere was so much different at a big league stadium, flying on the jet back to Atlanta. You come back to softball, it's a completely different atmosphere. How did that go, and coming back into an organization like the Gremlins? Yeah,
it was. I well and truly enjoyed my time in baseball, and I wish things had gone a little bit differently. But after my Hall of Fame induction yesterday, I was talking to Ricky Early, a long-time coach of mine back in New Zealand, and he said, if things had gone differently with your baseball, then you wouldn't be here right now in this situation. And he asked me the question, would you change it? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Yes, I would have loved to play in the big leagues. It would have been fantastic, but I can't take away from how great of a time I had playing here in the ISC. My situation right now in Florida State, being able to coach down there, everything for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely,
definitely. Great to be back on this side of the fence. Not one part of me wants to jump out there and try and hit this pitching right now, or try to go first and third like Wayne. I'm enjoying this, being the spectator, being the fan. It's great to be a fan of these guys that are still playing. It's fun to talk with, the guys that are still with the Gremlins that I played with 5 or 6 years ago. Well, actually, it might be more, maybe 7 or 8 years now since I was there. So fun to watch. This is a great game. I know right now there's people all over the world tuning in, listening right now, and getting to see these international players. And super proud that, I got to play in this tournament for 9 years. I played with some great teams, some good teammates, and it's good to see the game still going. It's the product on the field is still fantastic. There's good sponsors in the game, and we got a big week of some really good softball still ahead of us.
So it looks like they got that hole dug and second base back into position, and hopefully not a hazard anymore. But we've also got that pitching change now too. So Mike Root coming in. We'll take a break. We'll let Mike Root do his warm-ups, and then we'll get back to some more stories and an analysis with Travis Wilson. Having a great time. Stay with us.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Travis, I just mentioned I was listening to the Beyond the Dugout podcast that you did with Jason Gerbies, and you just got a note from him listening down in New Zealand. Chopper, thanks. I know you're with us. I don't even know whether it's the middle of the night or the next day where you are, but
we're looking about lunchtime-ish right now in New Zealand. Yep.
So he's certainly not doing any work down there.
I think he could probably write this off as work right now, right? If he's using the podcast, getting some material,
research.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, there's guys all around the world tuning into this wonderful game that is ISC softball.
So Zenon Winters at the plate, guys at first and second, and that is the one thing that I love about doing this is the global audience and the reach that we get. People in Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, little flair off the bat of Winters, and they get him for I think the first time today, do they not?
Yes, he's two singles to short and a single to left field for Zenon, and then the ground out right there.
So Ladislav Malarzuk, and this is something that has evolved maybe since you were going out. You probably would have seen kind of the rise of the RGs maybe just starting coming in, but Argentina emerging as a dominant world force now in softball. This one punched out to left. We're blocked, but good running catch out there by Josh Martin making the grab. Did they substitute for? I think that's still Josh out there.
Nice piece of hitting there. Set fly to left for Ladislav. But yes, going back to what you said about the Argentinians, like I think for the longest time there, the New Zealanders were like the biggest contingent over here, and that was relating to New Zealand doing very well at the international level. And lately, you're seeing more and more Argentinians find their way. I think one of the teams in the tournament this weekend, if I'm wrong, could be wrong, is a university team from Argentina.
Yeah,
so not only are they bringing their best players, but they're bringing their young ones to come out here and get some experience. So no question there's a direct relationship with bringing your players to North America and playing through this season and how well your international team does.
Root gets a called strike on Nick Mullen. So Cole Evans still out at second base. 9-0 now for the Gremlins.
I think Nick Mullen's coming off an MVP performance at the ASAs
He
last
is
week.
indeed. He is indeed.
And now he's batting ninth for your Gremlins. So he does a pretty good job down there. Doesn't go out of the zone very often, as you can see here. He's very patient. He walked his first at bat, flew out to left, and he's got himself in a pretty good count here to drive something.
Doesn't chase. And here's another guy who made a successful transition from baseball. We've got a great video on the ISC website with Nick talking about making that jump from playing D1 baseball in Nick's case, coming over to fast pitch softball. We guys like Matt Palazzo played high school ball into college ball and then picking up softball. A lot of times it is family related, and I think you guys have a lot of that in New Zealand too with the family connection.
No question. Just in my situation, my father played and I started playing cricket.
Mullins slugs this out to left.
And that wasn't my cup of tea. And then found my way into softball, where it's a very similar situation with a lot of the New Zealanders and the Australians too. They have a little bit more baseball, so there is that route in Australia to go to baseball. But New Zealand, for the longest time, it was fast pitch softball the whole way. But baseball's becoming a little bit more global and that type of thing there.
We're looking at Greg Leather, the coach of the Gremlins, but he's more than just a coach, isn't he? Mullins down on strikes. That'll be the inning. We'll pick that up on the other side. Talking about Greg Leather and the head coach of the New York Gremlins, Var Matosian, will make his way across the diamond. Does he get on screen? Well, we don't get any screen time with Mr. Oh, there he is. Making his way over to the dugout. No ducks today.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner, offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
So defensive change for the New York Gremlins. Brian Avery will go to left field. Manny Waugh, will he come out? He's done enough damage for the day. Matt Salt to the plate for Oswegan. They need to get 3 to keep this one going, and a big swing and a miss there. And Travis, I'm afraid our time might be a little short, maybe shorter than we were all hoping, but wanted to get back to that question about Greg Leather and everything he does for the Gremlins. This one's poked out to left. Avery is not going to get to that one. I don't think Evans got to it either. No, he did not.
Yeah, just I think he's been the glue behind the Gremlins' rise through coming from modified into the fast pitch and then figuring out, okay, how do we build the program, how do we build a team, and now to get the international players in. He's done a wonderful job. He's done it the right way. Every players want to play for the Gremlins, right? Because you know you're going to be taken care of. You're going to be done first class. So Greg Leather's been a big part of my career at the ISC, as well as Reese Casey's that was mentioned this week as well.
Down on strikes goes Matt Salt. Travis, what's next? You've got a great gig going on, assistant coach at Florida State. Where do you go from there?
Well, downtime for us right now. School starts back in a couple of weeks, so just enjoying being out at the ballpark, and know that the grind is going to be starting back up in a couple of weeks. I mean, I can't really call it a grind because I just love what I do. I get to be around the game, which is great. And as quickly as Cheese is working through this lineup right here, I just want to say thanks for having me in. Thanks for all you do and what you do to broadcast the game around the world. I know there's people all hours of the day at their home countries right now getting to watch this first-class softball with you on the mic, so I appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate you being up here today. We do, of course. ISC Network, Luciano Frano doing a great job here on the pictures here this week. Katrina Lafrano out running the camera today. Joe Todd, my usual right-hand man. We'll be back in for the late game coming up, and again, yeah, Cheese is just making short work of this, unfortunately, tonight. Tyler Dudley, temporary fences suck. Well, they do make for spectacular plays from time to time, but yeah, it'd be nice if we did have those permanent fences at 250. We don't. Last question, I guess. What's your favorite memory in the ISC?
Funnily enough, it's not a game, it's not a play, it's just, being able to compete with your teammates and, just keep the game going, keep growing this game. I know my head coach, Lonnie, down in Florida State, she's big about that, and, it takes a lot of people and a lot of time just to keep our game moving forward. It's had waves, the men's game in North America. There were times when it was stronger and there were more people, but it's still a good product. It's still what people want to watch.
That's the ball game. Swing and a miss there. Down go the Oswegan REDMEN. 9-0. New York Gremlins. Your winners here. We've been chatting all evening with Travis Wilson, new member of the ISC Hall of Fame. Still letting that one sink in, I think. Travis, thank you for joining us up here. Enjoy the week here with the Gremlins, and feel free to stop by anytime.
All right, thanks for having us. Good to watch Andrew Kirkpatrick doing what he does best there, and good luck to my former team, the Gremlins. They're probably going to make a pretty deep run this week, and looking forward to keeping up with that.
Great, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. We got one more to bring you here tonight. Coming up, the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, and they're going to be taking on the JB squad. Starters, Ramon Godoy, Brady Woods, two good ones, come back with us in about 15-20 minutes' time. Blair Setford, ISC Network, Travis Wilson, thank you for joining us. Take care.